Welcome to Scalcast Building Designer. We're moving on to a new project here called the Cottages, step by step, and exactly what they say, step by step builds, where we're going to take you through on a series of videos from beginning to end. So some of it's a little bit slow going, but it's to help you understand all the different parts, how things can be moved around and different things we can manipulate. What I've done here is I've created myself a new project, which you can see in the getting started sections of Tinkercad, so I won't go through that again. I've called it the Cottages step by step. I've set my grid up at 500 by 400. You just click update grid and there we go. And then I've also copied and pasted from my other projects, because I've got a project called Linka S1, Linka S2, Linka S3 and S4. So I've just copied some of the parts that I want. The way you do that is if you wanted the S4, you just click on that, control and copy. You could then close this project, open a new project, click on anywhere on the blue grid and press Ctrl and V and paste. So and then just line them up where you want them. And I put the text on there as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. So getting started, I've also then highlighted a few pieces that I'm going to use in each of the videos. So as I said, we're going to go through a series of videos to get you used to some of the more advanced features and some of the clever stuff that we can do. Now we've moved on from some of the basic ones. So I've just selected a piece and clicked on the colour and just coloured it. That's all, just so we can see what we're working with. So I'm going to select these three parts and I'm going to press Ctrl and duplicate so I can move all three simultaneously at once. Highlight the three again, adjust, align, and align them side by side. Okay, now for this particular build I want that piece to the left, then the window and then the door. So I'm just going to zoom in a bit so I can sort of see what I'm doing. So now I'm working on the area and I just dragged and dropped that. So it's always adjust, align, yeah, just align the top or the bottom, whichever way you want to do it, and they're done. So we've got a sort of repeat pattern going on here, and you'll see how this building comes together. We always sort of use the highlight of the work plane grid, which again can be seen on lots of the earlier videos. If you haven't already been through the tutorials, I suggest you do so. But that's entirely up to you. So I'm going to bring that in until it reaches 0, as we've done loads and loads of times already, and then just move straight in. And a little bit fiddly when you can't see it from that angle. Zero. Click on the grid, click away, and you've got your three parts. This repeats 3 times along the section. So what I actually like to do is just group them up. You can always ungroup them later on. Control and duplicate, and I use the right arrow key, slide across to the right, and then control and duplicate again, and it'll just copy exactly as many times as I want. So that's a little quick feature for you. And because I want to make this building as absolutely perfect as possible, I'm going to do everything quite precise. Sometimes the mouse just gets a little bit tricky there and it hovers around, but that's okay. You just click on it and away from it until you get it to exactly where you want it. Okay, so I've got my pieces. Then I want this piece, this small piece on the end, to finish that side of the wall. So I can just do ungroup, click that piece, control and duplicate. I'm just going to use the right arrow keys, and that's because I don't have to mess around with the align button anymore. It will always stay on line on the vertical plane. I'm going to zoom round over there and just join that up. And then I've got that whole section of wall completed. Can't see the arrows there. Oh, there we go. Click away, drop to the deck, and that's my main section. quite got that right. I'll group those up. Now I'm just going to bring that up to its correct plane, 90 degrees, and bring it up to the deck. There we go, that's my first part. So I'm just going to bring this now. This will just slide around so it'll always stay on the deck. So I'm just going to move this over here. Okay, so now I just need some pieces for this right hand side. So again, I'm going to press Control and Duplicate. I've put all the pieces here for that particular mould, but you actually don't need these because you can repeat that top left corner as many as you want. I'm just doing it really for clarity. Okay, so I'm just going to do 3 wide here. So again, Control and Duplicate, slide it over, and Control and Duplicate. So there's my 3. Zoom in over here. Okay, so we've got a group of pieces here, a group of pieces there. So let's have a look at joining these corners. Absolutely spot on, perfectly if you like. So I think about this plane here on this front edge, and this front edge. So we're going to bring that one across to that line there, effectively. So adjust a line, and that's going to bring that 100% on line. You can see the red line there coming all the way through, and it's saying aligned, so we know that that's fine in that particular instance. Now if we were to join this one to this one, we'd have to put that little marker in there. Okay, so there's a different way of doing this. Select the 2 pieces and think again, it's always the edge of the piece, so from this edge all the way in as far as it'll go until it meets that face. It's always face to face. So if we do it the other way around, effectively, so a line that way, they'll just connect in perfectly. There you go. So just a different number of ways of doing it. Again, we could have brought that out and just slid it in. So we could have just moved that right a few, clicked on the tool and done it that way, and then we'd have had to click in until we get to 0, which is a little bit more difficult to get precise, but it does work obviously. So it's just a different way of doing things. So if we were going to do exactly the same on the other side, okay, so let's have a look at that. Pick up this set of pieces, Control and Duplicate it, and just sort of slide it with your left arrow key until it's over to the other side, because no need to build that wall again, and spin the whole thing 180 degrees. Okay, now if we know that's already on the face line, which is fine. Just by looking along there, we can see they're exactly lined up because all we did is bring it and spin it. And if we were to click our marker on there, missed that, sorry, on there, we'd have to click that and move the arrow key like we've done many other times. Or we can just get a little bit clever about this. Yeah, group these 2 up. The whole piece is one solid now, so the outer edge is this left edge, and I want to move this whole building that way. So again, select the 2, adjust, align, and bring them that way. And you see that's faster and quicker to make a connection up to there. And you know, you can ungroup and group as much as you like. So there we go. Okay, the next piece here following this this model through is to take another one of these single pieces and sit it over these two middle pieces, and then an apex. Easy to show you, I guess. So I'm going to ungroup those two, and it's those two that I just want another row above. Yeah. So I'm just going to group those two together, and I'm going to set my grid where I want it now. So I'm already sat over the grid there. Now press Control and duplicate, and all I have to do is slide it up till it meets 0. See? Alright, and then I'm going to use one of these. So Control and duplicate that. Now you see this is sat right down here on the floor where it originally was, which is okay. We can do a number of things. We can just bring it up to 0 there if we want. And we can stand it up, which is what we're going to do anyway, and then bring it to 0 again. And spin it, it's 90 degrees that way. So we can see what we've got. We've got it there, we want to drop it in here. Okay, again, several ways of doing it. Click on the face, so we're going to line with the face, so we're going to line the end point of that up, which is the furthest part. So select both of them, adjust, align, and bring it over there. Okay. Alright, so now we're working on the back planes because it's the furthest plane to the left. That part, adjust, align, and align to the back. And you'll see that's perfect. So it's just a matter of getting used to the different ways of manipulating pieces. So I want exactly the same on the other side of the build. So I'm going to do this properly. I'm going to press Control and duplicate. And just while looking on this face, I'm going to press the left. Just anywhere there, I'm just going to spin that round because it needs to be the other way, obviously, 180 degrees. I'm going to shift and click the other part, so I've got the two parts. Adjust, align. I'll need to just roll out because it's that little line there I want. And there they're in, exactly opposite this. Okay. Now I can't bring this piece over here because if I bring it over here, the wrong face of the wrong walls with the wrong angle, which I could do, and I could mirror it, but I'm not going to mirror it. I'm just going to build it from the parts, because the trouble is when you mirror it, you mirror the numbers and you can't see the numbers. And here we can see the cast numbers, which is exactly what we want to do. So I'm going to bring the 35R piece up, which is there. Okay. Control and duplicate, click and drag, just drag it over here. Okay, remember it's down on the floor, so I'm just going to whip this up. I haven't even been careful about what I'm doing here. Okay, I know for a fact I want it in that plane by 90 degrees. I know I want it 90 degrees that way, and I know I want it on the grid, so a bit more accurate, so I'm on 0. Okay. So clicking that part and then that, adjust, align, brings it to the right place, and then that part and that part, adjust and align there. And that's the next section in. And then I'm just going to drop the grid on the floor so we can see what we've got so far. So we've got the 35R, the 35L, etc., and all the part numbers. So I'm going to continue to build the second floor above. Now you've got two ways of doing this. You can either just build a building, it'll just hang in space, so that's fine. But obviously, you know, when you build it yourself, you can't do that. You have to put supports in, etc., for the actual cast pieces. But we'll go ahead and we'll just do one of those to finish off this video. So the piece I am looking for is one of those again. I'll just build it here for now, and one of those. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just bring those over here and build them out of the way so we don't get in the way of our building. Okay, so both pieces, just make sure they're aligned to the bottom. I can spin them both up to 90 degrees, no point doing the work twice, and bring them both up to 0. I'll spin this one 90 degrees to the right. Duplicate it. This is that side, so I'll spin it 180 degrees. Okay, so I've got my 3 pieces. Select all 3, adjust them, align them, bring them all equally to the face. Now it's just a matter of joining up. Okay, so it's the easiest way of doing it, doesn't really make any difference. We'll do these 2 first. Adjust, align, left. Now to align those 2 to the right, they just need to be grouped. So they go as a solid block. Adjust, align, right, and that's the piece we're looking for. And let's just group those up because we're going to use those several times. Okay, so this is the second floor of the windows, which are going to go over the apex here. So I'm just going to bring these over here, and I'm just going to grab this whole building. I think I've got the whole thing there. Yep. Just move it back out of the way a little bit. Okay. So it's this piece here, we're going to put one of these windows above and above and above each one of those. So let's think about aligning. So ungroup this, let's get everything ungrouped. Okay, so I've just got this single piece. It's the same as this single piece. So if I adjust and align that to the left, I know it's perfectly on line with that, backwards and forwards, as it were. Alright, so let's have a think about this. Bring that and adjust, align. Sorry, that's not going to work. I was trying to do something easier. We'll do that next time. I'll show you that later. In fact I won't, I'll show you now what I was intending doing, but I was at the wrong place. I'm pressing the back arrow key till this thing's behind. Okay, that part which is one solid, and the part in front of it, adjust it, align it, and use the front arrow key. You'll see it's directly over it. The pieces have gone into each other. I'll show you what we're going to do with that in a minute. So let's just drop our plane onto the top. So we're doing the second floor. Click on this and pull the arrow and you'll see what I mean. The whole section is already lined up. All we need to do is bring it to 0. I'm just zooming back. There we go. Now this is what I was saying. This is hanging in space. So realistically, to build it wouldn't be practical because you'd glue that on there, it'd fall over. So you might want to put the pieces on here. So in this case, that's what I'm going to do. This is how I'm doing it as though I was going to build it, because that's what I want to actually do. So I'm just going to ungroup that. So they're 3 separate pieces again, all hung in space. Okay. Control, duplicate that, and bring it down, because that's how you would do it. To build it. So that's actually a piece, your pieces. So let's get all of those pieces that we just made. Select through those two, hold the shift key down and drag through the other two. That's 4. Keep hold of the shift, top one, that's 5. Group that, and just to prove the point, let's colour that blue. Now we can see that the blue part is actually that whole section. I'm just going to ungroup these. Okay. Right. So, control and duplicate the whole section. Sliding off to the left while it's part way. Shift and hold that one. Adjust a line there. Control and duplicate that. Slide off anywhere. Shift and hold that piece. Adjust and align. You see how we start to get a building fairly quickly now. And it's okay having all the nice coloured parts because we can see what we're actually working on at each section of it. Okay, so that's going to conclude part 1. Part 2, we're going to get clever about this roof and all these apexes and these various shapes that's going on the top. So come back soon for part 2. Thank you very much. See you soon.